All right, everybody.
Then we can use it against them.
Well, that's the first thing they're going to hear on the recording.
Yeah, where's the humans being more? Where's the humans being more?
Let's start tonight a little bit different. Okay, so what is it? It is August the 5th. So we're now into August. This is our first call of August, and appropriately so, we're going to be focusing on something particular. But before we go ahead and do that, let's wish Madeline a happy birthday, number 77.
77 was 77. I'm going to buy a lottery ticket. I'm still going out when we're done here.
You
You
do
go,
that. Right
girl.
on.
Happy birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
And Nikken has kept me, my skin is better. I don't know about the hair, but joints are better. So all kinds of wonderful things from 26 years and 2 months in a wellness home.
Awesome.
And it's kind of a global community.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And many more to come.
Thank you.
So, as you know, one of the things that Dave and I have been collaborating on is pulling together a plug and play agenda where people will have an opportunity to use a sequence of events that we're organizing here in the Zoom channel that will walk someone through the process. And it was kind of like back in the day when wellness previews were the training ground. If you remember, we staged our wellness preview into three parts: the intro, the product, and then the business. And usually you had a couple of strong presenters, one at the front, one at the back. And then the product piece was where a lot of people cut their teeth on being a presenter as they started telling people about the products and learning how to explain the products. That was a great training ground for helping people become presenters and moving from the audience to the stage and eventually to being able to conduct a preview on their own. So the process of staging our events, they serve two purposes. One was to obviously provide information, but the other was also it set a template for how to develop leaders and how to help them learn the process of moving people through the information so that they could make an educated decision and join. So because we're not as active on live events yet, we need to build up for that. We need to start filling the pipeline. And in order to fill the pipeline, you have to have a pipeline, meaning you have to have a process, a system, a sequence of events that you would lead someone through, that at the conclusion of which they would know how they want to participate, how they want to engage with us and with Nikken, either as a consultant or as a customer. Of course, our primary objective in this way of doing business is as a consultant. We want people to join us in the business first and foremost. That's our primary objective. If that's not your primary objective, this call will not serve you. This call is really about sharpening the knife or sharpening the axe on building a business, building a team. Now, Dave, why don't you pick up from there? I'm going to see if I can actually bring up that video that we talked about.
Okay. So we're at the beginning of the month. So this is the first Monday. And the idea of the first Monday of the month was to set the stage and make the decision and set the objective for the month. As we talked about last week, we were at the end of the month. There were a couple of days left. And the decisions at the end of the month were going to be based on the decision at the beginning of the month. So, for example, we know what our comp plan says. The first major level of leadership is silver, and after silver is gold, after gold is platinum. And the game that we play is we go from one level to the next. And the reason we go from one level to the next is because the organization is growing and expanding. And the bigger it gets, the more reward you get for building the large size organization. And if we
watch dishes also.
And if we look at the mechanics of it, it's based on, what the group does. Mike sent out a video, it was very interesting. Don't sell products, create teams. kind of a concept, which is, what we want to talk about in the sense of building an organization. Because when you build the organization, what follows is everything else. You get customers, you get referrals, you get all kinds of activity. And the more people that are out there talking and saying things and promoting and doing that you have in your organization, the easier it is to build the business. So should we let it play, Mike?
Let me see if I can get it to play. I'm not sure if you can hear. Wait, let me just start it again.
Okay.
There we
So
go.
anyway, so while we're getting ready to do this, the thought
Okay.
process. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
You have to take your
As
earbuds
far
out.
as
Mike.
your ability to build teams versus just sell product. There's a lot of people in the world of network marketing that they can sell product all day. They can say, hey, you need to check this out. They can refer people. And they're very comfortable in that product sharing piece. But when the business opportunity comes up, they just like, they freeze up. They're nervous about talking about growing a network marketing network.
Yeah.
You kind of came into your company you're with now with the mentality that you were going to not just sell, but you were going to build a team. What made the difference the second time around to get a team built?
Systems and culture.
There you have it. Systems and culture. That's pretty straightforward. So let me address this culture concept for a second. We have been our culture in Nikken has shifted more than once, and as you know, Ben would always say, culture trumps. What would he say? Culture trumps whatever it is, everything. Culture trumps everything. So what we want is we want to establish a culture of growth, a culture where there's an expectation that people will join us in the business. That's the expectation. That's not the surprise, and that's not the wish list. It's the expectation. So we want to start to have that as a culture in the way we think and the way we act and the way we communicate. That's part of it. The other thing is he mentioned system. Without a system, you can't duplicate. We as individuals are not duplicatable. We have our own way of thinking, our own way of doing, our own way of communicating. But we can duplicate process. We can duplicate a system. And so the idea of this calendar of events for the week and the month and then the quarter, but primarily the week, that's the real focus, because that's the front end of the business. That's the pipeline, is the weekly rhythm. This system would be the sequence of events. So back in the day, if you recall, a sequence of events would be contact and invite somebody in one manner or another. Usually we did that by phone, or we would meet up with them, or we would invite ourselves to meet up with them. But that encounter would, and I got this from right out of Dave Rolf's school, create interest. The very first step in the process is to create interest. And so if we're successful at creating interest, then they're going to be interested in knowing how Nikken can become a vehicle for them. They're going to kick the tires. The next step was to introduce them either to an ABC call and or an event, which was a large scale ABC, and usually that event was a wellness preview or a briefing of some kind, in home or otherwise. But the presentation was the presentation. We all followed the same presentation, the pie chart. If you remember, that pie chart told the story. It was just simply a story, but we all learned how to tell that story. And that was what made it systematic, is that we learned how to tell a story. It wasn't 10 stories. It was one story, but it was the way we embellished it that made it unique. But the story, the pieces of the story were all told because we were compartmentalizing every element of it. So you covered the story. The company, the industry, the products, the compensation, the training and support, and finally you. We all knew that was the pie. And so that systematically allowed us to educate the field on how to sell the opportunity, how to tell the story. So again, The venue, whether it was an in-home or it was a live meeting, um, the presentation didn't vary. It was the same presentation, which made this systematic. So going back to that, a systematic approach where the presentation materials as well are consistent, the same, we're telling the same story. So that was the second exposure. The third exposure usually involves some type of a demonstration of the products, usually a rollout or something of that sort. And then we would answer questions and get them started. And then that's then you take them on to the getting started, the onboarding process. And even then, that was systematic. So we all had a brochure, a quick start or a getting started. I mean, it's changed, but at the end of the day, we all had that working document that we would always refer to in helping somebody get started. That, again, created a systematic approach to onboarding somebody. And in that document, there was expectations. You make your list, you order your products, good, better, best, fast, medium, slow. They had variations, but the same concept of a small investment, mid-size investment, large investment in their business and in their experience. So by creating that systematic approach, and people then, as they were being onboarded and were being taken through this process, it's all they knew. They didn't have to invent anything. They just had to follow it and then take others through it, which made it simpler for them because they didn't have to do a lot of thinking. It was just simply introducing. And so that took the burden of having to be creative and inventive in terms of how to get somebody through the process. It put it in the hands of the people who designed the process, who were trusted because they had succeeded with it. So that's what we're in the throes of doing, is systematizing, because it's one of two critical things that has to happen in order for growth and duplication to happen. Culture, a culture of this, and a system that we all adhere to. So that's kind of where we're at. And this being the first week, as Dave was saying, the first week of the month, what do you do? If you're working with a team, if presumably, let's just adopt each other for a second. We're on the same team, and there may be some cheerleaders on this team, and there may be some team leaders on this team, but let's just say for all intents and purposes, you were in our downline, say Dave and my downline. For the most part, you are, so it's not really a big assumption. So what is it you would want of your team leaders to set as an expectation for you as a member of the team who has aspirations? What would you want us doing? You would probably want us helping you make a decision or set a goal, or, yeah, Dave.
Would you make all my calls for me, please?
That I won't do. But it comes to mind. Something that happened with me. I was a diamond in Nikken. I think Dennis and Ruth Williams may have been the last to go Royal Diamond about a year or two before that. And I was 33. And so there was an event in Toronto. Bob Proctor was hosting the Science of Getting Rich event. And of course, that was primarily around my team. So we were about 40, 50 people in a hotel downtown Toronto and at round tables. And that was one of his best seminars, in my opinion. Anyway, in the middle of the seminar, we get to the goal session, right? Writing goals, setting goals. And he turns to me out of the blue, unexpectedly, and says, "Hey, Mike, what's your goal for Royal Diamond?" Now, the strangest thing, I didn't have a goal. Now, I know in hindsight probably why, because I was always the downline of the others. I was always in the shadows of the others, and I was comfortable there. It wasn't like I was trying to rock anybody in his boat, but it was almost like you play a role. I'm the support cast in this bigger story. And it was inadvertently happening to me. I was simply playing that role. And then I realized in front of 50 of my downline on the spot. I had no goal, and I'm supposed to be the leader leading this group. And here I am without a goal. And Bob saw right away the look on my face, and he knew I was in trouble. So he said, "Well, let's just set one now." So right then and there, again, right on the spot, I was forced, not forced, but he helped me, encouraged me to set a goal for Royal Diamond. And that's the day that that goal was set. We took some time and I thought about it and I made the date, and it was a date with destiny, September 27, 1997 or 1990. Yeah, 97. It was a significant because it was my mother's birthday and she had passed when I'd first started Nikken. So it was sort of in honor of that. Anyway, that was the day that I made that decision. And it was also the day that I decided that I was going to prove that these laws that he was teaching were either for real, or they just weren't. Because I was going to be the perfect student. I was going to apply what he was teaching faithfully. I mean, I was not going to veer from this. I knew what the role was, the job was. The job was, hey, you don't know how it's going to happen until it happens. That's not your worry. Your concern is what's going to happen and by when, and that's it. Stay focused with the end in mind, regardless of what happens in between. So I promised I was going to be faithful. I wrote it on a gold card. Some of you remember I have a gold card that said, "I'm so happy and grateful now that I am Royal Diamond." And I even wrote the structure with 6 frontline platinums, 3 diamonds. And on the date, I had the signature of Bob and my upline on that card as well. And on the reverse side of the card, I wrote "Faith of a Mustard Seed" because that was my mantra to myself to keep me honest and keep me focused and in integrity around the concept of faith, faithfulness, being I'm going to be faithful to this objective. I'm going to act as if right to the very end. Yeah, Barbara's got one of those cards. So if it wasn't the point of this story is if it wasn't for having somebody give me that nudge and in the most awkward time, but still, I may have not made that goal and I may have not done the things that I did and helped others do that resulted in record-breaking results of silvers breaking golds and so forth. So those were the best of my times in Nikken when people were setting goals and we were striving to achieve them, not knowing how or if, but we just were committed to it no matter what. And that game was the most fun to play because it created excitement every month end. Oh my God, the last 2 days of the month, the last 24 hours of the month was always like popcorn, watching popcorn pop. It was super exciting. You're waiting on your phone. Who needs what's going on? We were in the war room, etc. Those days are what makes this business fun, really. And so to reenact that, to re-engage in that, we've got to start somewhere. We got to start somewhere. And so here it is. Here's where we're starting with you guys. And I know some of you might have, okay, I'm a Royal Diamond. How do I set a goal? What goal would I have? What do you want? Dave, what would you advise?
Okay, good. Thanks, Mike. And I got just a slightly different viewpoint about the same objective. And for me, it was having somebody to play with. So from the standpoint of doing this business, what I observed over time, because I started in 1975 with Amway and I did 13 different companies and I saw all kinds of people marching across the stage, making oodles of money, driving unbelievable cars, living in fancy homes, making literally tens of millions of dollars. This was a fascinating subject, but the key was that what made it work? It was somebody underneath me. So if I had that relationship, then the two of us were stronger than us as individuals. And that concept lit me up like a light bulb because it gave me something to strive for or work for or help or support. So if I got you involved, then my mission was to help you. And I felt really good about doing that. So what I was thinking about with this call was I would like to do a call to action that first off to find out who wants to play and go to their next level. raise your hand up in the fancy book here.
Okay.
So we got 1, 2. Do we got 2 that want to go, 3 that wants to go, 4 that wants to go, 5 that want to go? So we got 5 or 6 people that want to go to a next level. Now, what's the key to that? The key is to have somebody to play with. Now, what Michael and I looked at was the support system that we utilized to help us take our energy and build was what's now missing. And we want to put that back into play where we've got this unbelievable support system, but it's got to be doing something. It's got to be creating results. It's got to be creating excitement. It's got to be creating enthusiasm so that the new people that come on to join you are exposed to, wow, look at this. Look at these guys. They're excited. They're going. That person over there is going to go. Well, I want to go. I don't want to, that's what happens. It's a monkey see, monkey do. Not saying that we're monkeys, but, to some degree, there's some heritage there, I'm sure. So from the standpoint of moving forward, that would be the first step is next week, you bring somebody else on that you want as a partner to build the business. And at the same time, I want you to make an announcement, write it on a piece of paper, put it up on the screen. I'm going to go whatever. If it's build silver again, great, because that's the foundation. If it's to go gold, then great. Then that's 15,000 points. If we go platinum, then that's great. Whatever it is, make sure it's realistic and something that you can do in the next 30 days. Because that's the game that we're playing is what are we going to do in the next 30 days? What's the goal? And I told you my story last week on this call that I went Royal Diamond. I went Diamond, and every month my plan was to go Royal Diamond, and I did that for 24 months. And on the 24th month, I went Royal Diamond. So consistency, persistence, playing the game, getting involved with it. But the key ingredient are other people. Mm-hmm. So unless we engage and bring other people to the picnic, then it's going to be awfully difficult to launch and take off. And I know one of Michael's favorite topics is launching, how you launch your business. It was one of my favorite things to do because that was the catalyst that set the stage. And it wasn't just one person. It was a mad dash. How many people? I would be writing names on a list right now. I would be writing, how many people can I contact in the next 5 or 10 days or 5 days to get to the meeting next week so that I could get somebody to play with.
Yep.
And that would be where my focus would be in order to play the game. So that would be, and then back to you, Michael, that's how I would get things going.
Okay, great. Obviously, yes, we need partners. And start with one. That's the key, is to help somebody get a kickstart and be part of that experience. If you're looking strategically, what do I need to do to get to the next rank? In some cases, you're building or rebuilding. Maybe it's the first rank you need to do. I usually, one of my trainings, I talk about being a Royal Diamond, but that's in name. When I'm working with somebody brand spanking new, I don't wear my Royal Diamond hat. I wear my silver hat. As far as that new person's concerned, I'm just their upline silver, trying to help them achieve the rank of silver. Because the gap between them and Royal Diamond is so great that I need to only provide the information that's relevant of the time they're in, which is help them get to silver and help them understand that, because then at the next play for them will be to help somebody else go silver. And then I'll be putting on my gold hat, coaching them from the gold rank as to how to manage that experience as a new silver. I don't know if you remember the metaphor I used to use driving a car. First, you're behind the wheel. First, you're a passenger. Then you're behind the wheel. Then you're in the back seat. And you're just shifting from perspectives about the same experience, driving the car to the airport, which in this case is running somebody to silver. So the idea here is having a partner and maybe sometimes running with them as an experience. You're both going silver. You're both going gold. I know within 30 days, um, I would like to assume that we're targeting gold. The reason why I don't assume silver is, and I didn't even silver at 20,000 points was not the expectation. If you look at all my materials, they always say gold in 90 days. And there's a reason for that. And I'll give you the metaphor. If you're breaking a board, if you're in the karate stance and you're going to, break a board, you're going to put your hand through a board. If your eye is on the board, you're going to hit the board and you're going to hurt your hand. Your eye has to be beyond the board. Your mind's eye has to be at a focal point beyond the board, and your eye-hand coordination will work such that your hand will meet that point and snap right through the board as if it didn't even exist, and you won't even feel the board. Now, whoever's done that exercise, you know what I'm talking about. So in the case of breaking silver, it's really breaking through a silver on the way to gold. The mind's eye is on gold. If you look at it from the statistics, what does it take to go gold? It takes a team. What does it take to go silver? A credit card with a good credit limit. Doesn't take very many people. So if you want to build a team, the focus has to be on the team. And the structure necessary to go gold forces that agenda. You're not going to do it by buying products. You're going to do it by duplicating. So by starting off with the idea of building a team, by focusing on the rank that is associated with the first level of teamwork, essentially, as gold, by 90 days, 30 to 90 days being that projection that we're going to break through the tape, we're going to run through that board, then the 30 days that you're going to allocate, the first 30 days of that run, are for what? To put in place the front line, to put in place the players. So it's a recruiting blitz the first 30 days. And if you do that, you go silver. Everybody who's done that goes silver just from their own personal recruiting blitz. So if you've got a partner that you're working with, and that's what you're teeing up for them, going gold, their first 30 days is a recruiting blitz that's going to land them a silver ship as a consequence. So that's the strategy. Yeah, Dave.
Okay, so who wants to step up and make the first commitment for this month of what their objective is?
I want to say something first before you go there, Dave. We got a little bit more time. Mike, sometimes people come on board and maybe it's customers or somebody that's moving up in the system or re-signing up, right? We've had a bunch of people re-sign up. The 21 Club, I'm just going to reiterate the rule of thirds. And so the 21 Club was brilliant because it had you go out and it had you introduce 21 people. Now, I've taken a challenge with myself to get 10 books out there. I've got actually I have the career, 4-year career with the Royal Diamonds on it. Mike, you're in the back. All these people are in it. And I've got a bunch of them. So it might be a dozen, but I know I have 10. So I'm going to get those 10 books out there. I'm going to work on the Spanish American market because I don't have any. So that's my goal. But I know that out of those 10 books, 3 are going to want to play, maybe more, but 3 will want to play and 1 will actually do it, right? That's the rule of thirds. So if we come at it from that angle, then we know that we're going to get the no's, we're going to get the yeses, we're going to get the maybes, but at least we know we have the rule of thirds. And so you're not going desperado for the first 5 people to come on board and to come play, like you want to look beyond it. You want to have so many people in the hopper, like what you were talking about, Dave, so many people that you're asking and that you're doing that it doesn't matter if 2 or 3 say, I can't do it this week, or I'm busy right now. Let me move it up to September or whatever, because you've got so many people going. And that's what I just want to reiterate that to you guys. Go to your customers. We used to do this the beginning of the month. I don't know about you, Mike. Listen, I'm talking to you, Susan, because I think that you're a really go-getter, and I think you saw something in this. And I'm not. I just want to find out if you're my one going silver this month. And I would actually go through every person in my downline and ask them if they were looking for the one. Are they the one going silver this month? Then I would turn to everybody else and go, I'm focused on, Susan this month. All you guys have to help me back up and do the different things. We're not at that stage yet where we have that many people backing us. At least I'm not there yet. Y'all are maybe, but I'm building, and now we're building cross country, right? So there's different ways of building your team internet wise and different things and Zoom. So we have to look at how that plays out with the demo. But I think that if we get more people in the hopper, understand the rule of thirds, look at the 21 club as our own game to play. We don't need Nikken to make up the game for us, guys. I have forever made up my own game. Mike, you have your own recognition game. People have their own recognition things going on. So look at how can you acknowledge somebody for the 21 club? What can you give them? What can you do to have that in? And we did it in a week. We had a week to do it and 3 more days to put the orders in. So we actually had 10 days to do a 21 club, come up with 5,000 points. So what we could say it for silver, 6,000 points, and three people coming on board. And I think it was 3 or 2 customers. So anyway,
So
I just
Barbara,
want to reiterate
in
that.
that light, we do have trainings and a document where that document shows the rule of thirds, where the goal is to enroll 3 people at a good, better, best scenario. That means you have to enroll 9 people. And in order to enroll 9 people, you have to actually have presented to 27 people.
27.
So,
Okay.
so because those are the numbers that actually feed our compensation plan. So we've got to work with those numbers. And if you recall, we used to take our $1 million list and break it down to the top 30. And then you go and see 30 people right away. And you would probably, as a sponsor, go and see their first 10. In fact, it was at the back of the Getting Started book, the first 10. So the numbers don't lie. It's the methodology is the methodology. The question where this call is concerned is who wants to play? Who wants to commit? Everybody wants to play, but there's a difference between wishful thinking and a commitment. I made a commitment to Bob and to my downline and to myself on that day. The evidence of that commitment was 6 hours before the bell rang on my goal. The goal was achieved. That's how you know I was committed. So I'm talking about a team of people leading Nikken in the field in North America to begin the next chapter of this company's history, where we provide a succession plan for the company, the succession plan for ourselves, which is we have people in our organizations as ambitious, if not more ambitious than us, as energetic, if not more energetic than us, as hungry, if not more hungry than us, and who have a warm market list that have not heard about Nikken, unlike our warm market list that has. So what we're looking for is who can we infuse through our success story and through our knowledge and through our access to this team and the system this team is putting in play. Who can we bring into this pot, this melting pot of success, and give them a shot at the title? Be the recruiters. It's like you guys are hired to be talent scouts. You're the talent scouts. Find the talent. Look for the talent. Give people an idea that there might be something in it for them, that they have some talent that would be really well utilized in this particular scenario that is a very special scenario. It's not a general call. This is a very specific scenario. There's not a lot of us on the team, and the team's focus is going to be on a handful of people at a time. So
I
This is
had
a
a, I, I'm
very
gonna,
specific opportunity.
this is amazing, Mike. And I just want to share it because I heard someone share this morning on another coaching call that I had uh, privy to. And she shared with passion and conviction her mission to help women. I mean, it was just her passion, women over
I have to do
60
your
that could not, live their lifestyle in their retirement age. So she, with conviction, we can help you bridge the gap, 500, 600, 800, whatever it is a month that you need to build. And why was I telling you that? Oh, because we, and me, uh, have through COVID, I was in the mindset and I just did customers. So we need to look at what is our conviction that we can share with people to have them jump on board our skirt tails until they can come up with their own convictions and their own vision and their own, like Mike had his Royal Diamond ship, goal. There's that. But what is it? It's not going to be just that you or qualified gold or qualified platinum or whatever that is. It's going to be something a bit bigger for people to jump on board.
Let me jump in here because there's something coming to mind.
Please
This will
clean
help
me
you. This will help you. Do you agree? Do you all agree that there's room enough in the marketplace for Nikken to grow from 50 million to 100 million a year? Do you believe there's room enough in this marketplace for that to happen?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you believe that Nikken's product line, its offering, is relevant in this marketplace?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So what we have is a tremendous opportunity to go from 50 million to 100 million. Now, in doing so, that means there's going to be an entourage of people who have been onboarded and who have achieved success of their own in order for that to happen. Because it's not about us doubling our efforts or doubling the amount of time we're investing in this. It's about doubling the production through the efforts of others.
Mhm.
So if you understand that we're going to go from 50 to 100 million, that it's not only what we're going to do because it's a goal we've set to do, but that it's possible to do because the marketplace will bear considerably more than another $50 million in business from Nikken, and that there will be success stories inherent in that new growth, then the question begs, whose downline are those success stories going to be in?
Hmm.
Because if it's inevitable, if the results are going to dictate the situation, then it's really a function of whose downline are these people in. And so it's not a question of if or could it be. We've already answered that. It's who's it going to be? Who's going to benefit from it? So that's where when you speak to someone, what you're speaking into them, what you're infusing into them is the understanding that they could very well be the one who captures the next 50 million all on their own. That's doable. Yes, Madeline.
I have my hand up. Okay. So on my 77th birthday, my interest is successorship. So Estrella, can you see her name down here?
Yes.
It's my downline. So she is Gary Sujik's wife. And she was disappointed that his name and not her name was on one of the top 10 lists last week, or just the other day. And so she is the one that has been building this business with pink parties. And she feels that they're going away on vacation and she has her little one to get ready for school and she's working and she does everything. And I asked her to come on tonight and I said we can do it. And I want to model that we can. And I got myself excited last month with the reinstatements because I had over 7,000 PGV. So I did a silver. I didn't do the sponsoring, but I did. But my 7,000 PGV is partially because of her.
There you go.
productivity and wit that I have, and the MVP award or whatever that I usually get. It's because of all of this wit that I have. So she is one that even though she's going on vacation, we have the time to do this. And most of my 7,000 was in the last, what you were just talking about, last 3 days of the month. All of these people that I was working on the reinstatement and the 20% off coupon for the first time in years for all of you. I felt like the old days. I was on that phone. I had notes all over who was I going to call next and who I didn't call. And I wish we had that for another month, because now all the people that I did, and I'm going to call the ones that I didn't. We don't need to have the reinstatement. It was so.
Well, no, Madeline, what we have is a goal. See, the
Yeah.
difference is we're
Yes.
setting our own agenda rather than being led by an incentive or something that Nikken is doing to prompt us into some type of action. We're creating our own action. We're stretching the elastic band ourselves. We're establishing the number.
So, Star, are you able to show your face? Maybe she doesn't want to because of working all day or whatever. So, Estrella is her Filipino name, and her nickname is Star, and she is a
Well,
star.
here I'm going to invite
Yeah.
Star to come back to this call every Monday, Star, because this call is about creating stars.
There you
And
go.
that's exactly what this call is about. Is
Okay, I
the
got to say
stars.
something here.
Yeah, jump in, Dave.
Yeah. So here was the message that I just heard, and the exercise that you all want to do is because Madeline focused on the activities that are known to create the results, she got results. Now, there wasn't, it was like, that's how this game is played, and it's always been played. And as a business guy and keeping statistics, there is no rhyme to reason to why somebody comes in other than you just keep pushing and hammering and knocking and talking and it's like what we heard on Master Day of just talk to somebody every day. But where I wanted to go with this one, and Madeline, you started the case, so you've now got an objective, you've got a successorship that you're working on, and you've got a person, and last month you did 7,000. So what's the goal this month?
To work on her 7,000 to work with Star, and I'm going to follow up on my own because
Okay, so
I'm
what's
working with
Star's
people.
goal going to be?
Well, Star, can you speak? You don't have to show your face, just unmute and speak.
Here, let me help. No, I can't help.
You
She
can't
has to
help her.
unmute herself.
Okay, I've been texting her here, so I don't know. Gary, if you're there.
She's got her hand up.
Yeah, I'm
She is.
here.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
here.
Okay, who's there, Gary or Star?
Gary.
I'm here. Star is indisposed at the moment.
Getting your son ready for bed or something?
Yeah.
Okay, so Gary and Star as a team, are you committed? Are you committed to working with her? You're the one that had,
Of course.
I told Star change it and from Gary Sujic to her name because
Okay,
she's
so
the one
Madeline,
that-
you set a goal for 7,000 to help them achieve 7,000 in volume, PGV this month. Does that sound right for you? Is it Gary?
Yeah.
Gary.
Yeah. It's me, Gary.
So Gary, is 7,000 in volume high enough, big enough for you to excite you, to motivate you, or what?
He did,
Yes.
he-
Yeah,
he
yes,
did
yes.
5,000 for executive. Gary did 5,000.
Okay, so we got to get the silver ship out of the way.
But so he can do 7,000 if he did 5,000.
Okay, so it sounds like the two of you can work together because you're on the same page. You've got a mutual understanding, a mutual goal.
Mhm.
So your agenda for this month seems to be already afoot. 7,000 is the number. If you want a little advice from me, I would say 7 is an odd number. Why not go to 10? 10 is just a nice even number.
Okay.
And if you land on 7, that's fine too.
Is a good boy.
So you've got each other, which is the starting point of something magical.
So my advice to Madeline then, Madeline, your focus then is to help Star and Gary reach that objective.
Correct.
And you're going to be busier than a one-arm paper hanger dealing with all the three ways and the ABCs and the calls because you want to build the team.
Correct.
because your objective is to have the successorship, and how the successorship's going to take place is when you have a team that takes over and can stand on their own 2 feet, and they got to have a team underneath it. So that's where your vision is for that. So that would be good goal. So good start. Who's next? Yes, Lynn.
Mike, I'm going to change it around a little bit. I would like to rebuild Silver Ship with one team player before convention, before the Long Beach.
Okay, so you want to help somebody
Yes.
achieve the rank of silver.
Yes.
Okay.
And my goal would be then to go to Long Beach, regardless if the team player, but I want a team player, a business builder during that time.
With you in Long Beach.
Correct.
Okay, got it. So essentially a successor of
Yes.
your own.
Yes.
Who's ready to play at the bigger leagues.
Yes. In my
Okay.
mind, I want to
So
go
now
to.
let's narrow this down to this month.
Okay.
What
So
has to happen this month?
This month, I need to do the recruiting. I need to do introduction.
Let's change the word need.
Okay.
So this month you are sponsoring.
Sponsoring, yes.
How many people? Well, if we work the numbers backwards, you want your 1 star, right? You want your 1 star, so you've got to have 3 people who've onboarded to
Yes.
have your 1, which
So
means
I
you've
need
got at least 10 people.
10 people. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I got it. I'm just working a little bit. I have a little bit of time constraint. I have 3 days to my business in a week.
So now one thing that you're going to be hearing in the back of your head, I want you to
Yes.
hear in the back of your head when you're reaching out to somebody, I want you to hear in the back of your head, is this going to be one of my 10? Is this going to be one of my 10?
Yes.
Every time you speak to someone or see somebody, I want you to ask yourself that question in your mind. Is this going to be one of my 10? Because what you're doing is reinforcing and replaying the end in mind. 10.
God, as a teenager, Michael, I used to ask that question when I'd go out to the bars. Is this the right one? Is this the right one? Is this the right one?
And it works.
It worked. It worked. Found the right
Okay.
one. Okay. Lynn, great job. Thank you very much. Who's next?
Hey, we had a lot of hands that went up earlier. Where are those hands now?
Nancy looks like she has a hand moving.
Yeah,
There she
well,
goes.
I had put mine up, but when you said the next 30 days, my next 30 days are so full with family. I thought I would lose my mind if I tried to do anything else other than just maintaining what I do daily. So right now, it's
Nancy,
not
let
quite
me see
right.
if I can open that a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, the universe has an amazing way of serving us. And all we have to do is sow a seed of an idea and let it do the work. So what I want you to open the possibility to be accepting of the possibility that you're going to, in these next 30 days of busyness, encounter a person who's going to fit the bill. And come September, you're not going to be alone on the playing field.
I like those words. Okay. Okay.
Can
All
we
right.
back it up just a bit, Nancy? What would be your next real objective with your business?
Really, to qualify as gold.
Okay.
Okay.
So then what I would do I would map that out and see what are the elements that are required. Is it 1 new person, 2 new people, whatever? And then as Mike just said, in the next 30 days, the goal will be to run into and find and recruit that 1 person that's needed to build so that you got a player. That's what we want, is a player.
Yeah, because I don't have a player.
There you
I
go.
don't.
And that's it. Because once you have your first, and then you help them find their first, and then you help that person find their first, where you're three deep, what you've done is you've built a leg.
Mm-hmm.
And you've done it 3 generations deep. And each of those times you're building personal volume, group volume. So you're moving towards your target of gold. Now, if you have three people driving for silver at the same time, any three people in a month driving for silver at the same time, you're going to go gold.
Hmm.
So it's building that movement until there's three moving at the same time.
Yeah.
And you
And
got to
that's actually what
remember
I'm
also,
looking at building.
Nancy, what your objective is your objective is to create interest with the people that you run into, and then beauty's in the eye of the beholder. They're going to do what they want to do based on what they see, what they hear, how you've put it across. And believe you me, if you look at our economy and you look at the State of the Union, you look at the job market, and you look at employment, and you look at the need for making money, there's a huge demand out there, and people are clamoring all over the place to try and figure out what to do to flourish and prosper. We got a hell
Right.
of a gig. We just have to communicate it properly.
I think
Yes.
what Barb talked about earlier, the sponsoring three people plus the 5 customers with the 21, what do you call it, a 21 club or 21 contacts, what we were all doing at the end of the month trying to reinstate. Everybody on this call tonight went silver when silver was 20,000, when
Yeah.
executive when it was 5,000, and we're sitting here still, fussing around 6,000.
Okay, and this comes back to the idea of a culture. So
And the mindset.
so the culture back then was demo pack, career pack. Part of the culture of onboarding in Nikken was a demo pack and a career pack. That was standard procedure 101.
Auto
I
ship.
mean, if you're going to play, the least you could do is a demo pack, career pack, and if you wanted to really amp it up, you would do the 2,500 or you do the 5,000. That's what the good, better, best. Today's standard is a little bit lower, but there needs to be a culture of expectation of good, better, best. So I'm going to suggest for the moment, until somebody has a better suggestion, 1 pack is good, 2 is better, 3 is best. And the packs I'm referring to, of course, are the packs. The energy pack, the sleep pack, the water pack. So we need to establish on this team, because we're going to be inviting people to strategic calls and we're going to have to speak the language of the system. And so if I say good, better, best, you guys all know what I'm talking about, which means they will have been informed as well. Good, better, best. 1 pack is good, 2 is better, 3 is best. So we build a culture of expectation of how to onboard somebody if they're legitimate about building a business. They have to be legitimate. And we all paid the dues to win in this game. Everybody who's here paid their dues. It was no different then as that it is now. So we have to set a standard or a culture that breeds this. So that has to be your onboarding procedure. Don't fall away from that. Don't shy away from that. Lean on us, because when we articulated on Thursday night's call, when Dave and I go at these guys on a business level to talk about the business, we are going to be selling good, better, best on Thursday. That's our prime objective, so that they know there are 3 ingredients to this business: time, money, contacts. They got to set some time aside to build a 90-day
All right,
launch.
Michael. Who's next?
I want to add too, and it's
No,
me.
I want to know who's
I'm gonna
next before we add anything. Who's next?
Well, that I am, Dave.
Oh, you're next? You want to go set a goal?
I'm trying to say it. Yes.
Okay, good.
So I am one of the ones that needs 3 silvers to build my team, to get my so I want to qualify with grace and ease as platinum and build toward qualifying as diamond. I'm close, I'm not there, but I just want to be grace and ease. Middle of the month, platinum's done, and I'm on my way to diamond qualifying, and that's going to take the
So
3
Barbara, you need
people
3 people
silver.
running for gold.
Yes, but first I need to do the 3 people going for silver,
No,
right?
you
No?
only ever need to run for gold. You never, ever need to run for silver. Ever. That's not our culture.
Okay.
Silver is a consequence of building a team. That's a focus on going gold. We no longer focus people on going silver. Silver is the result of their personal recruiting, because they're trying to build a team. Their focus in their mind's eye is build a team. That's all they know. Silver means absolutely nothing to them. So don't give it meaning.
my long term is to have 3 more goals on my front line.
I
I
think your
don't know
long
about
term is to have 3 Royal Diamonds on your front line.
Well,
Then
yeah,
your milestone is to have 3 people running for gold right now in
right.
the next 30 to 90 days. And then their milestone, which you could set with them, will be what they're doing for their next 90 days, 30 to 90 days. So consider these interim goals
Yeah.
milestones. They're simply milestones on the way to where we're really going.
Okay. And I just want to underline one thing as far as conversation that it's an aha I had a while back, but it's different. And this might be good for Australia or Star and Gary, but it's one thing to spend the money. It's another thing to invest the money and investing in a business and investing in yourself and investing in your future. And that shifted everything for me and my family when I started. And I just wanted to underline the language we use is vital. I just wanted to say that. Thanks.
Precisely.
And I'm in.
They
I'm
did.
in.
They invested. They have a wellness home. It's the
Yeah.
mindset now of not just retailing and having that mindset of living the wellness home themselves for whom they are prospecting.
That's awesome. Great, Madeline.
Is there
Great
anyone
job.
else as we're getting near the hour here?
Yeah. Wes. I
Wes.
can. Yeah. No, I've got a different take. I like what we're doing. Basically, I'm going to start looking for talent, and I'm going to look for a playmate. I'm going to get somebody started, and I'm going to stop talking about health. I'm going to stop talking about product. I'm going to stop talking about a lot of other things that I talk to people about, and focus on building the team.
Right.
And
think-
just
I'll
so
have-
for Wes, you're in my downline. Anytime you want to talk to me, call.
Well, I haven't called, have I?
No.
So no, it's just a different focus, and
Of course.
I like where we're going. I feel like I've got something to plug somebody into now. For the longest time, I didn't. Seems like one upline after another has disappeared on me over time, and
So does
Gosh.
that mean you're directed Dave now?
I don't know. Is there somebody else between us still?
Yeah,
I think-
there's still one player, but we're close.
Yeah, we're getting there. So we're getting there. But
Wes,
you-
this is
you
what
lost
I
your
see.
upline, too.
What I see right now is the team. I'm not speaking on behalf of people who are not here, and I don't want to make any assumptions. I like what I see, and I can work with what I see.
The key is just make a decision, and everything else will unfold. You make a decision to get up, you make a decision to go to the bathroom, you make a decision to brush your teeth, you make a decision to eat, you make a decision to talk to your neighbor, you make a decision to have a headache, you make a decision to whatever you do, it's always based on a decision. And what follows is what follows. And you get out there like a mad mother and you do whatever you can. And again, here's what I have observed for probably 45 years in network marketing. It's the speed of the boss is the speed of the crew. So the more excited and enthusiastic you are about whatever, the more excited other people are going to be, because they're it's like go on Instagram for a couple of days and listen to the guys pitching everybody on their deals. They're not sitting there, hey, well, give me a call and let me know. They're jabbing it. Come on, let's go. I mean, that's what they're doing, and people are lining up, and the game is how many followers can they get, and they get these big prizes, and so on and so forth, and everybody's after the same rainbow.
Well, Star's a little Filipino just like that. So Star, I'm asking.
There you go.
I
for it.
want her to send her video of her pink party. She
Yeah,
never
great.
did anything.
Awesome.
Gary was the one that did everything. She came to the planning meeting. She planned her own pink party on her own. And she was upset with Jeff that she wasn't featured on that group of videos. And she wrote Jeff a note and got an
Good.
apology from him. So I want you to send your video to Mike, and Mike, you send it out along with whoever you send things out to, so that her video can get out there.
And
The way
on
that she-
Friday, I'm doing my first podcast.
Okay.
All right.
I'm the guest. I'm not this podcaster, but I'm the guest on the podcast. So
Okay, we got a hand up from Nancy and we got to wrap up. Nancy.
Okay, this is just me remembering. Well, Patty Sutcliffe came into town. We see her daughter who came in from Miami. On a Monday, I drove over to Dallas, and we were together about 4 or 5 hours looking for stuff, encountering people, and went into this one cow boot place, and the guys were there. They offered us water. Anyway, and so we ended up doing, demonstrations with the water. We did a demonstration with my shoe inserts, all this stuff. It was 2 young guys, young 20 something. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And we were walking out, and I said, Patty, it's so much fun to do this together. And because I remember way back, I think I did 4 different 21 clubs, really ended up seeing about 35, 40 people in that time. And I was going, okay, come on, I'll give you a rollout. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, the next person's coming, and it was so much fun. It was always with Crossline. Never have had someone on my team doing it with me, but it was so much fun. So hearing this, and then knowing that you will be, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, plug them in wherever they are. And I was again thinking of the basket in my office with all these cards and names and people I gave rollouts to decades ago. I'm thinking it would be pretty easy. So thank you very much.
All right. Awesome. Okay. We're going to wrap this call because it is an hour. You now know what this call is about, at least the first of the month. Now, we didn't get through everybody, and you didn't all jump in. So I'm going to suggest we repeat next week. We look at some others who might want to step up, and maybe some more refinement to this agenda, this process, because decisions have to be made for anything to change. Nothing changes until a decision is made. And so if you need some help with what that decision is or what it looks like from your perspective, then I think that would be useful time invested on the next call. Yeah?
We should also bring our best prospects next week.
Absolutely. If what they're hearing is people making decisions about their future, what do you think that's going to inspire in them?
I wanted to start to hear that. And Gary, thank you.
Dave, any last words?
Well, no, I was just saying with all the new people, and when Barbara stepped up to make an announcement as a Royal Diamond, I'd say, well, she's a Royal Diamond, but then, we can all restart, and that's the key. So her enthusiasm
Legacy
adds to it big time. So thanks,
It's
Barbara.
all about legacy, guys. It's about who do we pass the baton on to?
Yeah, exactly. And it will, the insouciance that comes about with people being excited and positive will multiply. This group will be twice as big in a couple of weeks and 4 times as big in a month. And then we will get some traction, and then we'll get some momentum.
Also, when I have the 3 goals going, and that it's a whole nother ripple that Mike talks about of income, that's my retirement income. That's my, again, legacy, but it's also, what do I call it? Filling the coffers, right? Getting the upping the ante and doubling the income and tripling
the rebuilding of a field team diamond again.
Yes.
There you go.
Along those lines, Nikken is a cure for a poor retirement plan.
I like that. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
But tomorrow night, Michael, we got our call tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Oh, the call tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yes.
Bring guests. Bring guests.
Oh, Balance Life, Happy Life.
The time again for tomorrow night for everybody.
It's 5 o'clock, is it?
It's Pacific,
8
p.m.
8 p.m. 5 Pacific.
Time. And who? I knew
Happy life, balanced life.
One of you are presenting. Who's presenting? Barbara?
Who is presenting?
Is it Sherry Danzig? It might be Sherry.
Okay.
I think it
so
is.
If it's Sherry, it's Sherry. Well, we'll be there, so we'll share our stories.
What's the topic tomorrow night?
It's the opportunity meeting.
How to make a boatload full of money.
Are we gonna do Wednesday with Broder?
Well, we're
Yes.
we're lining up Wednesday for brand night, and we're in the final stages of that. We've got Sherry is committed, Randy's committed, and Gary's committed. So
Week or next
we
week?
just have to figure out all the details and how it's all going to come together.
This week or next week?
Probably next week or the week after.
And then Thursday, are we gonna do Thursday now?
Yeah, Thursday was we just got to coordinate. Tomorrow we have an NFL meeting with the company, and so we've got to do some coordination of duplicative events or events that we want to have them maybe focus to the weekend where we can have our rhythm during the week and
Yeah.
they can have their rhythm on
And
the
it's
weekend.
unlikely we'll have that call because on this Thursday, because we need the players.
All
You
right.
need the players. It's for
Probably
them.
like the 1st and the 15th, huh? If
Yeah.
we did that launching the business, then Jeff can do his entrepreneur the other 2 days or three days of the month. But if we did the 1st, that's kicking off the month, and then the 15th is kind of launching the rest of the team, possibly. Anyway, it's a thought I had for the Thursday night.
Well, the weekly rhythm is going to be the same, so it's not going to be spaced that this call is a strategic call. This call might have an agenda that deals with the actual timing of the month. But the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is the process. So that has to loop every week the same.
Every week. Okay. Okay.
And then Thursday, when the people that are motivated from like the Tuesday or decide they want to play, make the decision, then we can really focus and hone in on what their specifics that they need to do to build the business to reach their goal. And then once they've got that down and they're indoctrinated and ready to go, then they'll plug in Mondays and they'll be part of making the decisions and helping everybody else get fired up. It's a win-win.
Okay. All right, guys.
Sounds good.
Thank
Night.
you.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you.
Right.